Just waiting for a few more people to join here. I'm gonna go over some Bitcoin, gold, NASDAQ, you know, a couple of the heavy hitters. Just trying to make sure this is all set up correctly here. Just bear with me for 1 minute. Go ahead and post this on my X. Go ahead and add that hashtag Bitcoin. Don't even know if these hashtags even work anymore, to be honest. But let's go ahead and post that. Look at that, I just posted it and it's already hidden in all the scams and BS. Like I can't even find my post. That's how much scam accounts there are on X. Like you can't even find my post. Crazy. Yeah, pretty wild. Looks like we're hovering right above the VWAP. Obviously super slow volume price action, seeing that it is Memorial Day in the USA. All right, so anyway, let's go ahead and jump to the daily time frame. This is the Coinbase chart. Yeah, we're looking at some quarterly fair value gaps. We have some weekly fair value gaps below. Has been doing quite well. We finally flipped. Let me go ahead and hide this. We finally flipped this weekly into support. And as you can see, look at the respect, right? So the 50% of the week, look at that close. The close was literally right on the 50%. So this is actually extremely bullish in terms of a super high time frame, not super high, but on a high time frame perspective, because the fact that we have a weekly fair value gap from right here, right? As you can see, no trade on the left or right side of this candle, leaving a fair value gap. Price respected it multiple times, came down before impulsing higher, making a new all-time high, coming back down, stopping right before it. Then price comes back down, basically closes the weekly right on that 50%, opens it again right below, stays below it. And then now, if you take a look at where we are, came down, tested it, closed above, came down, came all the way down, took a lot of liquidity last week, but still managed to close above, the 50% off the weekly fair value gap, right? So after all that price action, right? Fair value gap, respect, price comes down, test it, opens and closes right on the 50%, comes back up, flips it into support, and closes it right on the 50%. So that's actually very bullish. It's showing that the market does not want to close a weekly below basically $77,000, right? That's pretty much just a line in the sand, 77,000. So with that being said, this week, in my opinion, if price begins to trade below 77,000, just based on how this weekly candle closes, it seems like a interesting area to consider going long below the open of this week, right? Expecting price to once again close above this weekly 50% fair value gap, right? Took liquidity below this down low close candle. If we go down to the daily, then you can see, all right, there was a swing low right here, took some liquidity. We had a bearish fair value gap, bearish engulfing candle, but then right after that we had a bullish engulfing candle, which took it all back, pushed price higher. So these are very important lows. Then this low came down. Obviously it was defended. These lows were defended with this low, created another pivot. And we have a market structure shift on the daily time frame. So there is a possibility that Bitcoin can go up, come back down, make a lower high, and then aim for the previous month's value area low to basically perform a full value rotation based on last month's price action. But if we were to look at this month's price action, we could go ahead and see where we are right now. All right, we can see we are below. I'm actually going to go ahead and save this one, move this to right there. We are right at this month's current value area low. So if we manage to get a daily close above 700 area, this point of control, then in my opinion there's a very good chance we then push to move back to these highs at around 81,500, which is the next major area of the this month's volume, right? Which also lines up with last year's value area low, right? So very technical level. You can see price struggled there, failed auction higher, and once price rejected, it seeked lower prices because in the month of May, the market does not seem to value Bitcoin above $81,700, right? So that's just something to keep in mind. But in my opinion, it still looks overall very bullish. We have a year-to-date fixed range volume profile too as well. As you can see, we traded above, struggled for acceptance, came back below. There's a chance we could rotate lower, but if we fail to rotate to the value area low, then I do believe a new high is coming relative to this month, right? A new monthly high should basically be on its way very soon, right? And by very soon, I mean pretty much in like about a couple weeks. Oh man, sometimes my throat just kills me. So yeah, it is looking bullish. We definitely need to get some closes above this down close candle. As you can see, it was a very big bearish move last Friday. Over the weekend, we've just had some bullish price action, but weekend price action, you kind of want to take it with a grain of salt because it's not really high volume, right? The New York session or London session is really the sessions that hold some weight. So with this being said, there's a very big chance, in my opinion, if we don't close above here in the next day or two, we're going to be moving down pretty quickly, possibly all the way back down to around 65,000, 66,000, right? Could then go ahead and draw some trend lines here. Now, this is a very interesting trend line. Kind of seems like nothing, but at the same time, it could definitely hold some weight. Could still get something like this, right? Which pretty much lines up with the NAV, right? Look at that. That would be a very nice short entry if you start seeing some weakness at this level, 80,000, to take this all the way down to 72,000, possibly 65,000. And if things get really bearish, then yeah, below 60,000 with 50,000 being the next major target for sure. Almost like it's a massive head and shoulder pattern we kind of see playing out here, right? Now imagine if this was to play out like this. I don't think this is gonna work, but let me just see something. I think it's gonna be way too long. Yeah, it's gonna be way too long. But let's go ahead and look at some one-to-ones, some possible down targets, right? And look at that. So the one-to-one from this swing high to this swing low, if this is the next swing high, then it looks like the next major target is right there, 45,000 at the bottom of this. Which fair value gap was this? Might have been a weekly. Let's see. Nope, maybe it was a monthly fair value gap. No? Why did I put that there? Oh, it's a quarterly fair value gap. Let's go ahead and drop a Q in there so this way I remember. Drop the Q in there. Got the weekly. Just go ahead and clean this up. It's a little bit here. This is very interesting. I'm just gonna go ahead and take all of this, besides this, make a group. All right. Right, so just when looking at the clean chart, right, swing high, swing low, swing high, target 45,000. Definitely possible. Also lines up with this weekly fair value gap untested, which is, I believe, which I had before. Yep. That one is different though. I'm not sure because it was the quarterly. Yeah, quarterly is more powerful. I guess we'll keep that. And then yeah, typically when you see this kind of upward price action in a bear market, these lows typically end up getting broken down and end up getting taken out, right? It's a very bearish pattern. It's very similar to what we have going on right here as well. All right, so we can definitely, wouldn't be surprised if price comes down, test it a little bit, and then just breaks down, right, for another leg down, which would pretty much target right around this 50,000 or the one-to-one $45,000. Definitely one of the most likely outcomes, in my opinion. Unless the thing is, you see, on the reverse side, when you get this price action here, in a bull market, it could actually be very strong, right? But when you have bearish market structure with lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, possibly no lower highs, these lows or these trend lines tend to not really hold up. So yes, I would not be surprised if 47,000, 45,000 will be targeted towards the middle to end of summer. And then that's where I would be extremely interested in going for a long trade. But in my opinion, if it happens, it's kind of similar to what happened here, right? May, Look at that. So May, beginning of June is when we had this massive sell-off about 4 years ago, just like the Bitcoin cycle, right? And then what did you have here? Right? Might not look like anything now, but let's go back and take a look. You can see trend line. It's almost identical actually, right? Like almost identical, right? Breakdown, breaks down again, and then it just consolidates after the final breakdown for let's see here. Why did I get rid of that one? The date. You know what? Let's go ahead and add that to the favorites. So after the drop down, yeah, look at that. We were consolidating for pretty much, this is January, June, realistically about 6 months before the start. But if you want to count this whole area as consolidation up until here, really official breakout. So from June 2022 all the way to October 2023. So it's about a year of just pretty much sideways action, right? And if that happens, then yeah, kind of similar, right? Like a year of sideways action, year and a half. You might not even get another start at another bull market for until, let's see here, maybe to 26. I don't think it's gonna be 2030 would be the bear market. So 2028, yep, start of the new bull market around 2028 area. Yeah, so that's why I wouldn't be too bullish on Bitcoin in my opinion. Those 4-year cycles are very strong. They haven't cracked yet. It's been the same for a very long time. 2018 was the high. 4 years later, 2022, the other high. 4 years later, 2026, other high. 4 years later, probably 2030, the next high on Bitcoin. So we're just in a bear market, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be fooled. We are in a bear market for Bitcoin. In my opinion, we will be having another leg down in about 1 to 2 weeks. The sell-off will last about a month or two. Then we're just going to have sideways action for about a year until 2028, when the next bull market starts, leading into close to the next election cycle. And that's just how these 4-year markets play out. 4-year cycles for Bitcoin. It's just very similar. Like nothing really changes. Like look at that. Almost the same exact price action. And when did this happen? Early June, late May. Where are we at right now? Late May, leading into early June. Another massive sell-off is probably going to happen. And you might think, oh, is it really that simple? It can't be that simple. Well, it's been that simple since 2016, for 10 years. Probably longer, actually, because it came out, 2012? It's been that simple for 12 years plus. It's just patience is not on a lot of people's side. Let's be real here. So, in my opinion, I would actually be looking for shorts on Bitcoin. That's what I'm going to be looking for this upcoming week. Would have been, if anyone was short from around 82,000, it might be a perfect entry for a swing short aiming for 50,000. In my opinion, 50,000 is almost guaranteed to get hit this year. I will stand on that. If it doesn't get hit, it doesn't get hit. But in my opinion, based Basing it off of historical price action, 50,000 seems to be the next major target for Bitcoin. Might even consider opening some leap shorts on IBIT. Not financial advice. You know, things are looking bullish here. Kind of similar to what was happening here, right? Look at this. Price held up, came up. Looks very bullish here. Very, very bullish. And then just completely sold off. So we could possibly get another push up to 88,000. Would not be surprised. Which will line it up into this daily fair value gap. Which also lines up with this daily supply zone. And this is just where I'm looking at, which, you know, it's, you might think, oh yeah, you know, that's not that good of an area, blah, 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 blah. It's bullish, it's going to go higher. But look at this. It's like perfect engineered liquidity. All right. You have a high here as well. Equal highs, relative equal highs. So I can easily see Bitcoin getting super bullish, pumping up, taking out some liquidity, possibly getting to 50% if we get enough bulls to come in, possibly hitting the daily supply, and then just selling off. Would not be surprised to see something like that play out over the next few weeks or months. Daily fair value gap. Daily supply. Could even hide that. Daily supply. Engineered liquidity. Seems like a perfect target to lead to another sell-off. It might be that easy, might not, who knows. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Bitcoin. Let's go ahead and jump into NASDAQ. I had this logo, the MNQ, same chart, just cleaned up. Super, super bullish. Look at the yearly on NASDAQ. Just look at the yearly on NASDAQ. Absolutely insane. One bearish year, 2022, COVID, right? Or I should say, yeah, whatever, 2022 is when that happened. This year is super bullish. No weakness at all. Quarterly time frame. This would have been a nice entry. Testing these down close candles. Pretty much exact, right? Look at that. Super bullish. There's just nothing else to really say about the stock market, which seems like a crazy scam, Ponzi scheme. But then again, you know, when you understand inflation and money printing, it does make sense why it just goes up, but it's pretty crazy. Yeah, look at this. Weekly bullish candles, absolutely insane. One time framing to the upside on the weekly. This low was swept. Bullish open this week so far. And it just keeps on sending it higher. So let's see here. Where would I be looking to possibly continue a long? Even though they just make new all-time highs, so you got to be cautious. So I have to be cautious, not financial advice, right? Series of down close candles. So once again, could possibly do it like this. Pull out daily close, the highest daily close. I always dash mine once it's been traded through. And then we just pay attention to this area for a possible long trade. We have a gap here. So once again, there is a chance if you want to get really sensitive, could do like that. this is really just the most interesting area to possibly look for a long trade. Lines up with the nav. All right, 786.75 combination. Looks like the golden pocket, but it's different. Yeah, and that's what I'll be looking for, a long trade. It would be nice to get some of these highs taken out here. Right, would be nice to get some highs taken out on the NASDAQ and then take the trade down to fill this gap. I like the way how that looks. Until then, no trade. Unless we get price to hold this level before making new highs, right? Then, in my opinion, I'd be looking for a long right at the retest, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it with NASDAQ. Then we have gold. Let's go into right here. See, bullish targeting 4,600, which is the middle of this daily fair value gap. Tested the trend line. It's a good possibility we end up testing at least, let's see here, swing high to swing low. Could break this into quarters. I'm not gonna have 50% lines up right in the middle, right? Can't make that up. Yeah, extremely bullish. Looking to target at the very least this range high, right? 45.93. So come Tuesday, the 26th, or when the markets open at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that should be the target for gold. And then once it reaches 45.80 area, then we would have to see what happens. I would personally love to see another pullback, at least into these lows. Excuse me. What is this from? This is just a support level. So yeah, like this was interesting, but it's just when you have these gaps below, there's a good chance price comes all the way down first. If not, I would entertain a long here to possibly take it up. Missed the short trade here. Other short trades to be made, obviously, if we just get a little push. If you see weakness, price comes back below. Aim for these lows, possibly to aim for the gap. So there's definitely some trades to be made. Just have to see how this all plays out. But let's see, anything else we can go over? Maybe XRP. Yeah, XRP has been very interesting as well. So when you zoom out, you can see XRP is trading in a very nice, clean range, to be honest. Very nice, very clean range. Makes things a lot easier in terms of where you can look to go long or go short, or where I would look to go long or go short. And yeah, you have this, a lot of liquidity was just taken out right here, right? So there is a chance that we can reclaim this, stay above 135 cents. And then aim for 155. If we get more weakness, then the next area of interest, in my opinion, would be $1.27 for XRP, and hold this trade for a while, because look how long it took this trade to play out, right? If you were to get in on these swing lows here, which it didn't take out this low, but it took out a few lows before. 1, 2, 3, 3 drives pattern, right? Before breaking market structure, shifting the market structure, and then eventually pumping up to at least, it looks like a 75% pump. Maybe not, it looks like a golden pocket. 618, yep. Yeah. All right. Before then selling off again. All right, taking liquidity, selling off. So I would actually still rather see XRP come back down to 127 before aiming for 155, because this area is still a little tricky. You know, protected these swing highs, made another swing low here. If you really want to get super technical based on this swing low, which is at 133, you can then go down to like a 30-minute chart. Trade the pullback, which lines up with the VWAP pulled from this pivot low, right? It's the trade I would be looking at taking along, just to be, you never know, it can just bounce from here. Stop loss below this low. It's a 1% away, so almost a perfect risk trade. And then this trade, if it does play out and it doesn't move lower, you could possibly take this all the way up 15% to 155, right? So the RR on that is a 14R return, which is possible, right? Because you had this deviation, consolidation, manipulation, and you might get that distribution expansion to the upside. So yeah, I'm actually going to set an alert there because you just never know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Quick live stream. Not too many people, but one day we will have more. So yeah, thank you for joining. Until next time, take care.